My name is Jeremy Hunt. I am from Fort Worth, Texas. I grew up in Arlington, Texas. I grew up in a single parent home with two other siblings, and I'm the middle child. I, uh, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Um, we were the most creative bunch of people, my siblings and I. I got a lot of my inspiration from the movies that we would watch, acting, uh, music. We grew up listening to Motown, Al Green, Marvin Gaye, the Shy Lights. Um, we just love music. Stevie Wonder, um, the whole Motown experience. We loved music and performing in the arts. Uh, so creativity really became, our lane. And so sketching and photography and writing music and, performing, it just came natural. It came very, very natural to our family. I was first introduced to like imagination when I was in the second grade, Miss Cundiff's class to be exact. She would read these books and she would read with an accent, right? And as a kid, you hear their natural voice, right? You know the natural voice of your teacher. And so when she began to do this accent, I had never heard anything like it. And she would show us the pictures, from the book that she was reading. And I'm sitting on the floor like, yo, what? And she's showing us the book. I'm like, what? And that was the first time I was introduced to my imagination. Loving and falling in love with documenting life through photos and sketching and film. That's everything to me. Being able to go to new places and experience newness, adventure, explore, and just be present, and photography, for the most part, really was that catalyst for me. Being a young kid and being in the living room of my mother's house, and she had these photo albums, and in these photo albums, black and white Kodaks, and color Kodaks as well. But you see these people, some of them you knew, some of them you didn't know, and you see yourself uh, in these images, of times past, and you just like, for me, I was just kind of like, yo, these are people frozen in time and in this frame. Who are they? What was going on during that time? And you know, some of them are happy, some of them are pensive, and it was such a nostalgic feeling to just look at these images. And uh, that's when I really also fell in love and with documenting, and then that sense of my imagination just continued to expand. Um, so then I get into high school, and I'm walking around with this little point and shoot Kodak, and I'm just documenting everything. I'm taking art classes, sketching and painting, and creating these graphics. And I'm just like, I just wanted to create, and we created music, and I made a whole album. Just expression. Uh, then I also began to notice that I desired to learn people. I wanted to learn people that were just unique, that were interesting. I remember I was in high school. I had an experience where, I was the president of this organization, 100 Black Men, and we went to this nursing home, and there was this older gentleman, white guy, right? He just seasoned, you know what I mean? And I was drawn to him for whatever reason, and I'm sitting with him, I'm talking with him, and we're just hanging out, and he begins to tell me a story about the first time he had fell in love, and I was like, oh man, but it was emotional. It was very much emotional, and because he loved this woman so deeply, and he was telling me about the first time they had met and what they would do, and the time when they were apart, how he felt and how he longed for. And as I was sitting there, again, my imagination began to expand. My desire to learn people grew. And I think it was experiences like that that wanted me to continue to, just learn different things about people, find our common ground as a people. I remember the first time I traveled outside the country, this experience of going from hotel to hotel and documenting where we went, the people, the culture, writing about it, making a film about it, and having a collection of images of this experience. I remember telling myself, I want to do this every single day. I had a group of people, my classmates, we went to Europe, and it changed my view of existing in life. That life is about serving other people and learning other people and finding those common grounds. And when I got back to the States, I traveled to Arkansas, where we had this experience of living in an agricultural environment on a ranch, and limited access to internet and social media and things of that nature. And we was really drawn to each other as a collective. Different shades of people, different backgrounds and perspectives. But when you put people in a place without technology and without bureaucracy, you really begin to see that people just want a space where they can exist. And I just loved it. And I wanted to create more spaces like that and experience that for myself too. So to design spaces where people feel seen and important. I went to Texas Western University. There I received my bachelor's degree in communication. I've done journalism, writing, visually documenting experiences around campus, culture, all these, very unique and interesting opportunities. And I enjoyed it, but I felt like I was still looking for something that revolved around solving a problem. And being in college, not necessarily knowing where I wanted to be, it was just kind of like what now? Like what do I do now? Graduating college in 2015, I have a strong background in education, so realistically it was like, okay, well, stay within education, maybe do some teaching. I got into an administrative role. I started teaching photography. When I was in the administrative role, I learned so much about, I have a strong desire to help people go from point A to point B. So people is what really interests me, but it's more so about like the psychology of understanding people, right? And I find that so fascinating. I find it so interesting. And so, recently I was in a role as a design researcher, which I have no previous experience of until that opportunity, which I'm extremely grateful for. Working with a design agency based out of LA, fully remote, and we're doing a lot of work for the government. And I had never done anything like it. My leadership, incredible. The team, incredible. Very gracious, very kind people. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I want to do this. I want to do this. So learning more about human-centered design thinking, customer experience, service design. I finally feel like I found my space, right? The space where I feel I can bring something to the table of fulfillment, you know, in a value and purpose. And so I love understanding people and why they do what they do, you know. So when we were doing interviews, to me, it was just story time, you know, and understanding what interests a person and why they do what they do, and what do they value, what are their pain points, and how can we begin to solve for those pain points. When we, you know, went back to ideate and prototype and sketching and, you know, just throwing ideas around and really challenging one another to, you know, make the best product for the user, I had just never experienced anything like it. I didn't know that anything like that could exist. And so I just loved being in a space where we were so passionate about solving their need, not based off of what we thought was good, but really, you know, doing it to the T, right? Identifying the need, doing the research, synthesizing, and you know, utilizing all these different types of tools and softwares to really ensure that we are doing the best that we can at the highest level with the highest quality. And I'm just sitting there just like, I'm really in this space solving a huge need right now. It was a humbling experience. And so now, you know, just moving forward, I am continuously looking for an opportunity where I'm able to come in and add value to the mission of a company that wants to solve big problems for people. Companies like IDEO obviously are ideal. I love David Kelly, you know, Tim Brown, and I'm so inspired by the work that they've done, and I'm so inspired to move into those spaces where innovation is important. It's key to everything, and also just being, you know, being a child, creative confidence. That's important, right? And cultivating that, and being in those spaces, and being around people that challenge you in a way that wants your creativity to come out. I am definitely looking to align with not only a company but a vision of the company that's so much about solving problems for people. You know, yeah, the money will come, cool, great, awesome, but when you can go to bed at night knowing that you solved a problem, probably for someone that you would never meet, like that makes my heart race. Like that's important to me. That's big. My name is Jeremy Hunt, and thank you for watching.